Yeah. All right. Okay. Something new for today. Bringing you massive value in all types of ways. But first thing I got to do is make sure this stream is set up right. You see a problem today. I want to make sure that it's just with the chat, but it should only take a second to fix. Might not even be that big of a deal. Also, I finally got Whisper Flow, so I'll be using Whisper Flow. All right, so I just started the stream for today. I'm in OBS and the chat window is just blank. I've never seen that happen before. Any suggestions to fix it? Yeah, I really like this Whisper Flow. It's got me talking a lot faster and it can still pick it up. I had to slow down, not a lot, but a decent amount to use the Windows version. And I noticed that it's getting all these technical terms right. And in the case that it does get something wrong, then like a box pops up and it's like it fixes it for next time. So it like learns um, just by me talking to it. Okay, let's try this real quick. Click anywhere inside the blank chat. All right, that messed up all my settings, I think. Maybe not. But it didn't fix the problem. Okay. Well, yeah, it looks like today I'm just gonna have to manually check the chat, so not a big deal. I'd have to like restart the stream, it sounds like, and yeah, I don't want to have to restart the stream. So yeah, I'll just manually check the chat today. And main thing I want to do today is I learned a lot last time about more complex projects. I thought you could just pile on as much stuff as you wanted and it'd be no big deal. But I quickly learned that if a project gets too big, um, well, maybe that's not the right word. If a project's folders get or files get too big, it slows everything down. And my VS Code was like just like locking up and restarting and ended up having to delete a bunch of like files, like the cache files, stuff like that, to get it back going. But yeah, I got that back going. And what I realized is like, oh hey, what's up in the comments? What I'm building is the free tier for the InvestaPath Financial Hub. And I'm going to start today by implementing some skills. Because what I found out was I was just trying to load way too much data and create way too much code. And I had no idea because I'd never done anything this complex before. So I learned a lot from this. Basically, I ended up deleting a lot of information that wasn't necessary. And now what I want to do is I learned that you can have skills. And if I implement these skills, it basically replaces having to do more code. So like instead of coding certain things, I could just build skills and the code will reference these skills so that it makes it so it'll run a lot smoother. Cause I'm just like learning kind of like structure and everything like that for, I guess you'd call it engineering, and there's like best practices of engineering. I didn't know any of this. This is something that I learned from like making mistakes basically. So yeah, I pretty much got to restructure how I'm building, and now I know in the future, like going forward, I want to build things leaner and cleaner. So yeah, that's what I'm doing today, and also hopefully getting time to vibe code. Well, I guess I already said that, vibe code out the free tier. But yeah, just starting out, let's see where I would go to VS Code, I believe. Which is where I'm at. Just gotta open up the right folder. All right, yeah. Gonna start out in plan mode to do this. It's recommended I do plan mode for the skills. Okay, so here we go. Getting right into it today. Um, I'm gonna be restructuring the brain of how Claude works. Letting it jump straight into code usually leads to messy imports or circular logic. So plan mode forces it to be a senior architect before it becomes a junior coder. Um, if I want to be surgical, follow the 3-step cycle during the stream. And that's I don't want to be surgical. I was just in bear with me. I was just in the hospital yesterday. Had to get a procedure, and last thing I want to think about is that. So, but yeah, just feeling a little bit foggy, but it's not too bad. Um, we got the architecting in plan mode. Okay, so it's saying like do exploration in the chat, architecting in plan mode, so that would be like skills, and then execution in normal mode like I usually do. Uh, and I should make sure that I'm clear that it's I'm doing app skills and not agent skills. Okay. All right, so I have learned a lot when it comes to like engineering, and originally I think I was trying to make this project way too big, and it was causing a lot of things to slow down and VS Code to restart. So what I want to do is I want to implement skills. So like before I had a bunch of different folders for different apps that had like different functions that I was just gonna like upload or like put into the project one by one. I already deleted all those, and I'm just going to build this project as lean as possible. So I want you to start out by just going over what you see so far and letting me know where you think, based on what's already here, it would make sense to implement skills so that I can make this code cleaner and leaner. Oh, there we go. Thought the I thought the voice thing wasn't working. But yeah, I like this whisper flow. I'm definitely sticking with this. Whisper flow is so much better. I can tell already. All right, so yeah, Claude's just going over. Let's see. Yeah, oh man. No, this totally what do you call it? As Gem oh man. Okay, so I found out also don't be really careful about Gemini and these LLMs trying to help you like fix any kind of technical problem with like an application or a website. It told me to like press a button to fix the chat, and it basically like reset my settings. It looked like for yeah. Oh man, that is pretty bad. Okay, it's not that bad, but yeah, I'm just gonna have to reset those settings later. Um, and I tried out Perplexity has its own browser, so I was just getting really frustrated with Gemini and all these other LLMs giving me, I'd be like, help me navigate through this website. They give me a list of like 5 different things I need to do in the order to get to like where I was trying to go. None of them would work. And they'd be like, oh, this website changed. And then it'd give me another list and none of them would work. So I've looked into it, and Perplexity was a much better solution. Perplexity is like its own browser. And and it's much better at like it can basically like go through the site and just with the browser can go through the site and like find the right thing right away. The browser itself is kind of annoying to me compared to Google Chrome, what I'm used to using, but it's way better than trying to use Gemini, which, because see what just happened, it told me that I just needed to hit a certain command to fix the chat window, and it ended up resetting. It looks like resetting all my settings. It took me a while to set up for my stream and did not do anything to fix the chat. So I'm definitely not gonna worry about that now. I'll have to do that later. And yeah, I just let me see if I can maybe just fix this a little bit. Yeah, I think that's as good as I'm gonna get it for now. It's not that big of a deal. Maybe the VS Code screen is smaller, but I'm kind of like worn down from that medical thing yesterday, so it's gonna be a short stream anyway. I just want to get a few things done. I'm already like just like feeling like I want to make progress every day, and part of me, Doc said I could go back to work today, but yeah, that's I don't know why they're telling me that, but I just can't help it. I'm like, man, I want to make progress. Just the thought of not making progress for 2 days in a row is like I can get stuff done for sure. Okay, so it's finding some things. What? Okay, I want to read what it says first. So what's already clean? Market data, trade engine, trading UI. Already implemented the time machine feature where it sees opportunities. Dashboard mock data is hard coded into page components. So when these eventually pull real data, the extraction will be messy. Can have a portfolio skill or a dashboard data site skill that owns the shape of this data and provides it mock now, real later. Sounds like a good idea. No tool registry. Okay, so it still sees I have the 29 legacy tools and a growing set of active tools, but there's no central place that defines what tools exist. So I definitely need to do some cleanup because it doesn't realize like 100% that I removed those. And I was even thinking about just like starting this over to make it cleaner. And I was advised by the AI, by Gemini and Claude. I checked both of them, and they both said like, no, you don't need to do that. You can just have it clean it up, and if anything, you'll learn from it. But yeah, definitely learned from it. And I know this is just something that in the future everything will be built better and cleaner. So I think this is a good like exercise to go through and learn a lot. Even last time I was streaming, someone in the comments was like noticing the same problem. Like, yeah, everything's getting slow on me, and I'm like, yep, I just had that same problem. I know exactly what's going on. Most likely, it's just like TMI, too much info. Um, all right, no coaching ad skill yet. Yep. I'm gonna tell it other for that tool registry. All right, you're talking about a tool registry skill. Well, I already deleted all those tools. That was causing like way too much data, and I was advised to delete all those. So I also noticed like in the Claude MD file that it still says that, this app is or this project is based off the 29 tools that I moved over there. But that doesn't realize it, so I guess maybe the first thing before you even like do these skills, let me know what you think, is to just go through and make sure like this whole project understands that those um those 29 different folders with apps that I migrated over or that I sent over, I already deleted those. Those are not there anymore. All right, the legacy cold storage folder with the 29 app folders is still on the disk. Do you want me to include deleting it in the plan? Yes. So the migration guide and the planning hub blueprint MD are entirely about the legacy tool migration strategy. Yeah, it's a pain that I did all that and I got to delete it, but I had no idea that it would cause this much trouble with the project, and now I do. So yeah, looking at the comments, you're wondering how am I generating revenue with all these applications? So I'm not yet. Um, all those applications are just MVPs. I think that is, I've been doing this for maybe like a month and a half, and realistically, if you're starting a business, um, I mean, I guess there's all different kinds of businesses, but like I'm thinking like, realistically, if you're starting a business, you're probably not going to be making profit as in quick as like a month and a half. But I was thinking like, maybe if you're opening a store or like a physical like a brick and mortar store or a restaurant, but even then, I mean, it's going to take you from the time you start the business to actually get like the store set up, it's going to take you probably like more than a month. But yeah, I think in the past, usually with businesses, to become profitable, I feel like it takes kind of like 6 months to a year. So like you just have to be understanding that when you're starting a business, especially like a digital business, even more, that you're probably going to go through at least a couple months where you're not going to be making any profit. But this project I'm building right now is is going to be the first source of profit, the first main source of profit. And essentially, this is like a membership site. So it would get monthly recurring revenue. I'm setting up the free tier right now. So there's going to be I want to make like a really really good free tier that people get a ton of value from. And this free tier is basically going to keep people on the site and get them to move to the paid tier. It's going to show them like what's possible. The main thing right now on the free tier is a time machine trading experience where you can basically try to beat the S&P 500. So it's like taking you back to random years in the stock market, which is like a tool that I made. And basically, I'm getting people on the free tier and then hoping that they move to the paid. And it's all going to be about too. Like once I get this going and I start doing marketing and I can see where people are like moving through the site, then I'll be changing the site around based on like what makes the most sense for what people want, what people don't like. So, I mean, it's all going to be like a work in progress until I find that spot where like everybody's like staying on the site and they want to keep moving. So, noticing a comment about would I review your vibe coded app? It's free. You need the input, no pressure though. Yeah, that's no problem. There is a Discord. So it looks like you're on YouTube. So what you want to do is sign up for the Discord, and there is a chat in the Discord where people can post their projects. So basically, go and sign up for the Discord. You can post your project there. There's other people posting projects. You can see other people's projects. They'll be able to see yours. It's kind of like marketing, and I'll check it out. I'll let you know what I think. You have no idea about finance. That's no problem because what I'm building is for people who are either very beginner, like the target market is for people that are basically like beginners or have no idea about finance, but they want financial freedom. They want their money to work for them. They don't want to just like, have the bank, making money off their money and giving them like, just the crumbs, basically nothing for interest, because that's what the banks do. And basically what the banks are giving you for interest is not even going to keep up with inflation. And a lot of people just have like a financial advisor and they're paying fees to get into ETFs. But I think it's totally possible for anyone to learn how to just invest, like the most, not even trading. Trading would be later if you want to, but just simple investing. Learn how to just like buy stocks that you like. Start by just buying and holding, and learn how to this app I'm building, which should be able to teach anybody like in record time with an AI coach how to become like very successful investor. And then if you want to move on to trading from there, that's up to you. And there will probably be more resources for that. But yeah, I feel like this is like, a missing link because there's a huge gap in the market for this. Most apps about finance are trying to get people to trade. Um, Essentially what's going on is like the exchanges get their money from people making trades. So they're not really trying to like teach people how to do like investing, which is really where you're going to be making your money. So yeah, I think like this is really like this should have a lot of value for a lot of people. So what inspired me to develop applications about the stock market? Well, kind of like what I was just saying, like I've noticed a huge gap in the market. I myself have been investing for, I would say like at least like 7 years now. And I just started like moving into trading maybe in the last like 5 years. But like, yeah, the first years were all about buying and holding. And I quickly realized like, it took me maybe like 2 years to maybe 2 to 3 years to where I was like starting to buy at the right time. My first couple years, I was just like mostly buying at the wrong time. And then like I'd buy and the price would just go down and I'd be sitting there for like a year before I'd go back to break even. But after a couple years, I started getting better and I started realizing like just focusing on where I would buy. And I'm easily beating the S&P every year. And it's got me to where I've started to become a good trader. I'm winning consistently with the trades. That's a whole different process. But what I see a huge problem in society where, everybody's working for their money, but really their money's not working for them. And their only options is they're told to like, they can get rich from trading. But most traders fail. Trading's way more difficult than it seems. Most people are pushing a lot of hype about trading. Um, I think investing is where it's at. I think people can make a ton of money investing, and what I'm building right here is going to really like make it so much quicker for people to go from beginner to like even knowing nothing to having like an AI coach that would usually cost you, like for a decent coach, like $1,000 a month for like an investing coach. Um, no more ETF fees, no more you know, advisor fees, nothing like that. I think it's totally possible for me to build something that can coach people to get financial freedom, take people from, having working for their money to have their money work for them. And within like, a couple years, they'll be profitable. And, 5 or 10 years down the road through compounding interest and like just everything growing, that I think there's a ton of opportunity there. And I also learned that the cost per acquisition, CAC, is like a business term. Basically, it's like a metric, and that's how much it costs to acquire a customer. And in the financial world, most of these like customers are trying to get on exchanges, so then like they'll make the money from people keeping a lot of money in their accounts. And these are like big banks that are like fighting over these customers. And in finance, basically, it costs around like, $1,200 to $1,500 of advertising costs to acquire a customer. But there is a huge gap in the market. They're trying to everyone right now, it seems like, is like either trying to get people on trading or trying to get people to put a lot of money on their exchange so they can make interest off of it. But nobody's really trying to like give people a platform where they can learn to be independent. Like, like give a person a fish, you feed them for a day, teach them to fish, you feed them forever. And that's what I'm trying to do, is basically teach people how to fish. I'm trying to teach people how to get financial freedom and abundance, and for like a very low price. Like even the free tier could get you there, but I want to show people that with the free tier. that they can learn quick, and then it'll take them to the paid tier to where it's like, it'll be like 10 or 20 bucks a month, and coaching, all kinds of like, just like paper trading with journaling, and then that can carry over once you're making money with fake money, basically, with paper money. That's what paper trading is. It's like fake money. Then you can basically just transfer that over to real money, and the coach and the journaling and everything can translate over to that too. And there's just a ton of options to go from there as far as like where you want to take your investing. And I want the coach to take everybody based on their personality and the way their mind works down the right path of the right style investing that works for them, because investing is, in my opinion, it's not like a one size fits all. Everyone is like better at like certain types of investing, and um in the past, you'd either need a coach or you just have to like do it the slow way like I did, and just like learn by doing it over and over again, and just like learn from your mistakes. But yeah, I'm seeing a huge opportunity in the market for this. All right, let's see. So they're asking me, do I want to keep the tool names as aspirational? No. Replace with generic capabilities. All right, so some of these tools, like I will like be implementing, but not the exact way the tool was before. I will be making it better. So I guess I don't want to keep the same name. I want to get rid of as much unnecessary information as possible, and I'm gonna let you decide on what to do. But I definitely know I don't need to keep the tool names as aspirational. And I'm not even sure that I'll be using all the different um, tool capabilities. Some of them I might not use, and I'll probably use more capabilities than I even like had tools for in the beginning. So whatever you think is best, let me know what you think. Awesome. Yeah, I will check out that Discord chat and check out your vibe coded app. Um I guess, is there anything that you think I would want to know to help me understand the app? Anything that, you think that would be beneficial before I look at it, that like, kind of like what's the purpose of the app, or is that pretty much like I can just look at the app and tell right away what it does? All right, so yeah, it looks like we got a whole list of updates. Got to update a lot of things that were based on those apps. Like I made those apps as originally, like when I was creating them, I thought they were going to be standalone apps, and I was just going to go with the best ones, and then like put those on the app store. But my vision changed, and I realized like, okay, I did more research into the app store. It's really kind of like a gamble just doing the numbers game. It's much better to like put a lot of marketing into an app and everything like that. And essentially, like this hub I'm building, like could be a standalone app if I build it right. But I was like, why not just put all this stuff together? Like I feel like there's way more I can do than any one of these apps alone could do. So yeah, it ended up making the mistake by trying to and it was even like Gemini, I believe, told me like, "Oh, just move your all your apps into this new project, and set up these files so it recognizes the apps." And I did all that, and then everything started just like slowing down and crashing. And I was like, "What's going on?" And Gemini is like, "Oh yeah, you gave it too much information. That's like way too much." And you should have split it up better. And I was just like, okay, well, you told me to do that, but that's like the learning process. Like if I hadn't have done that, I would not understand this. It would not have led me to learning the skills, implementing these skills. And I learned so much by making mistakes. And that's why I've got like behind me on the board is build fast, fail fast. Oh, hey, what's up, Kai? Good to see you every time. Just stopping in. Um, just working on the finance hub today, starting by trying to implement some skills and cleaning up a lot of the unnecessary stuff that I had in there. Basically, I learned a lot trying to make this project as lean and clean as possible, and yeah, just learning from my mistakes and fixing it to make it better. So right now, before I like started out by having Claude like, go implement some skills, and then it was telling me like, "Oh, do you want a skill based on each one of these folders you pushed over here?" And I was like, "Yeah, I already deleted those folders, but like it's still in a lot of files that those folders are there to like reference those folders." So the first thing before the skills is going through and just like cleaning up everything that's referring to those folders. So so that's awesome that you appreciate the financial information I was giving you. Yeah, it does sound really complex, and that's like the main pain points for beginner investors is that it's just most of the finance hubs right now or like finance tools are very complex. They're not made for beginners, and it just a lot of it sounds really overwhelming. But that's like I want to make this app as like simple as possible for beginners and get them to where they need to be to get financial freedom. So the app that you have, it basically scans your GitHub repo for any potential security issues and bugs. Suited for vibe coders, though it's an alpha stage, accuracy is still 50 to 60%, trying to fine tune it. Okay, that sounds interesting. Um, so I'm just wondering, like, what is that? How is that different than just like having Claude. If I just ask Claude, like, hey, Claude, go scan my GitHub repo for any potential security issues and bugs, how would your app be better or like different than just like a normal scan with Claude? All right, good to hear everything is cleaned up. Basically, what do you think for implementing skills right now? Do you see anywhere that I could add skills right now, or should I just be like building skills as I go? I don't think I'm in plan mode anymore. Oh, yeah, sometimes like if you give it a command in plan mode, finishes it up and it just automatically gets out of plan mode and you got to remember to check it back. Um, Not a big deal, but yeah, just something to remember. So the code base is already lean and well structured. Awesome. The existing skills are properly extracted. There's very little worth extracting right now that wouldn't be over engineering. The tool registry. So basically, so they're saying there's a duplication for information for the one tool I have. It's not a big deal, but as soon as I add another tool, I want a single source of truth, so I don't have to update the two places every time. Awesome. Do I want to build the tool registry skill now as a small foundation piece? Sure. All right, so back to the chat. So think of the that app as a third-party verifier. No course, context, no bias. The one LLM already in your LLM is biased since it reads the past context, not suited for security audit. The one LLM you used in your vibe coding session, you mean? Oh, okay. Um, so yeah, I get what you mean. It's like an independent, like I'll do the building with Claude and then have Codex do the auditing. So yeah, that makes sense. It's like another source for that. So yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Um, I don't think I've done a I don't think I've done a scan in my actual GitHub repo itself. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Um, yeah, definitely still some more that I've got to understand about that, but it sounds super interesting. And yeah, I guess do you like what have you found in the past using it? Like how has it helped you? Like what should I expect, I guess, when I use the app? Uh, what kind of like improvements would it make? What kind of bugs have you found that weren't being caught with just like an LLM or an agent? So yeah, it looks like Claude found there's actually 3 places that have the same information and not 2. So that's awesome that I'm cleaning that up. Yeah, I thought I would be like installing a bunch of skills right away, but that's awesome that this is looks like it's gonna be simpler than I thought, so I can just go straight into the vibe coding and start building on the free tier. I got a lot of good ideas for it, so yeah, I've definitely been excited to get back to this, and it's just bad timing with having that obligation yesterday, but made it through it and finally get back to doing what I love to do, which is building stuff. So yeah, that just right away it was like even before I start building the app and it's crashing and I'm just like, what is going on here? Learned so much. And now I'm seeing like how I can make all my tools better. Also, oh yeah, that's right. I got the email set up for the mailing list. So right now it's like a waiting list for the site. I will add that to the description. And basically the way this is working is I was able to have Claude hook up the API for resend for the email list. And right now it's like I was saying, just to get people on the waiting list, but once the actual site is built, it will change to be like the when people create an account, this will be like the email system that they'll use. And because it's implemented into Claude, what I can do is basically like set up a marketing dashboard, which I was planning on doing anyway. And what I found out new that I can do today is I can push this email function into it. And like in the past, I would have to go to like a MailChimp or a ConvertKit. I'd have to go to their site and I'd have to like manually like, navigate through, click their different templates. I can get my own custom like pages instead of using their like not that good looking templates. But the best thing that I realized today, what I can do is I can making my marketing dashboards so that like everything I'm doing aligns, for marketing, and so that the emails I'm sending out can just be on the dashboard, and I can just go on the dashboard and say like, hey, um, I'm doing marketing for like a certain feature on this like paper trading time machine. It's free, and then it can create all the marketing, and I can tell it also, write an email to all my customers letting them know about this new feature. So it'll just automatically do that. I mean, I'll just tell them like, information of how I want the email to be. I'll give it skills so that it writes the email in the correct way for marketing and for my brand voice. And it'll just do this all automatically. So basically, like the way I'm looking at this building a business is like focusing on one part of the business at a time, building a basically like AI agent employees. And then once that's done, that gives me the time to scale up to build the next employee. And essentially what I can do is I can just build a whole system to where it's almost running itself. I wouldn't want it to run itself because I want to manually like guide it and be the CEO and make sure it's doing the right thing and everything like that. But once I get that system set up, I can essentially clone that system and use it for another business. So I mean, like just what's possible is so much here, and it's so awesome to be building right now, and I'm really grateful to have this opportunity, and it's a lot of abundance. So looking back at the chat, um talking to this person about this tool, if you want to check it out, they've got a tool for security to scan your GitHub. It's in the Discord. I haven't tried it yet, but I've been asking them about it. So basically, this person has vibe coded for fun, wrote about 250,000 lines of code worth using various LLMs. Um, and they agree the problem is you can't truly audit the code in the same environment you worked it on. So the way VS Code or IDE works for LLM stores the MD files as memory bank for the LLM. Yeah, that's true. If you run an audit, the LLM will read that context too. The audit should assume no context whatsoever for better results. I see what you're saying. So it's like not when it doesn't give it that context that it already has, it's more of like an independent audit. So that's why it's better than okay. That's the main thing I was wondering is like how is it better than just an LLM? So I see what you're saying. Yeah, that sounds really awesome, and I'll let you know what I think after I check it out. Um, so is that like also too? I'm wondering like what kind of projects are you building? I see Kai's talking about he's working on a major project application that allows people to edit the GTA game resources within a modern feel and improve performance. Are you talking about Grand Theft Auto? Because I actually just saw on YouTube, it was some vibe coder. He just gave Claude like maybe one simple prompt, like he wanted them to recreate the new Grand Theft Auto game, and I think he said it took it like a half an hour or something like that. But it made a very basic looking game, but it was like a very very like basic Grand Theft Auto version of a game that kind of did the same thing. It just looked like it was made in like the 1980s or something like that. But I mean, yeah, that's super interesting. I feel like I don't really play like I understand video games because I played them when I was younger a lot. But I don't really play video games anymore. So that's not really something I would get into, but I feel like yeah, video games are I mean there's so much money in video games. So actually one of my friends who's a graphic designer and runs a marketing platform in Minneapolis, he did uh he did a project with I better not say their name, but it's a very influential person who wanted to do a video game project. He did a project with them, and yeah, it kind of reminded me of GTA. It was like kind of a different variation of GTA. And this guy, him and his team, they're paying like 100K just to get the game set up from their idea. So there's definitely a market out there for people who want to build games and have like budgets to build them. And if you can do something like that, I'm guessing that if you set up the right LinkedIn and marketing stuff and you show like what you're building, you could find the right people that want to build these games, and you'd be able to make a lot of money like that, I think. So right now people are editing files with apps such as Open4 and CodeWalker. They're old and not optimized. So you want to revamp it to make it way better. Yeah, that's awesome. Um, yeah, it's like they say, like you don't need to reinvent the wheel, you can just make a better wheel. So yeah, that's cool. That's that game market. I feel like I wanna like I kinda did make some games with that investing stuff. And in a way this what I'm building right now is kinda like a game. And it looks like I'm ready to start going to it because yeah, this is done with the update I did to make everything leaner and get it ready so that it's known to build skills. Okay, so all right, I'm gonna open up the local browser. I want to open up the local browser. Um, Let me know the address for the local browser right now, and not for the mailing list, but for the actual dashboard. And yeah, Kai, thanks again, man, for recommending me. I think you're the one that recommended that Whisperflow to me. Whisperflow's got me working a lot faster. It's way better. Um, I've definitely been implementing a lot of stuff. I got the dashboard finally done for my, well, not done, but at least the rough draft of it done for my personal brand marketing. And I already started automatically creating thumbnails, and I can definitely make them a lot better. Creating like the descriptions and stuff for the YouTube videos, and I'm able to just repurpose my live stream stuff. But also I'm seeing like there's a lot better ways that I can make kind of videos inside the live stream and stuff like that. So um, you're noticing a lot of persons use these things because there's 100,000 plus GTA servers that persons run to have fun with their community, with friends and etc. And they want to edit the GTA map, the GTA cloth. So yeah, that's cool. And I remember I think the last time I played GTA was maybe like 15 years ago or something like that. So I remember that there was like different maps and stuff like that, and I'm sure now it's like much more customizable. Um, you could pretty much like customize it so it's like your actual like neighborhood or like your own city, and like that would be pretty cool, I think. All right, need to start the dev server. All right, here we go with the project. So I got my dashboard. right away, the first thing I'm seeing is this chart. I need to make this chart better. All right, so the first thing I see that I want to improve is the actual chart for the time machine. Um, First off, I think it's just too small. Like it should be bigger on the screen if possible. But in regards to the way it functions, is it's not showing enough history. So I want people to be able to see like at least a year of data to look at before they buy. 2 years would be much better. And since this is not live, it's from the past. I feel like the API shouldn't restrict me on how much data I get. So let me know what you think. If you can do more than 2 years or a year, that would be awesome. But that's why I think that the chart should be bigger so it can show more data because I want to give beginner investors the tools that they can like read the chart previous to where they are now to make their decisions and not just buy based on like the name of a stock. Oh, what's up, Jake? Hope you're doing good. Respect every time. So yeah, it's going all right. Just had this like medical thing I had to do, doctor appointment thing, and um that was super annoying, and it slowed me down a lot, feeling a little foggy from that. They said I could be fine to go back to work today, but yeah, I definitely was still feeling whatever they gave me yesterday when I woke up. So feeling a little bit foggy, but I don't want to like I can't just like not create right now. I'm just addicted to building this, and definitely feeling good enough to go. And I'm sure like I'll wake up tomorrow feeling back to normal. But yeah, just right now, I'm just feeling a little bit just not as sharp as usual, I guess. But yeah, started out by cleaning everything up. That last stream, man, I learned so much. Everything was like shutting down on me. I learned uh I learned that I need to make these projects way leaner and cleaner. So that's what I'm doing, cleaning up a lot of things, learning about how to implement skills. Got the whisper flow going so that I can talk quicker and it's more accurate about what I'm doing or what I'm saying. So let's see, how much pregame history should I show on the chart? I think I want to use as much as possible. For the layout, the chart is currently squeezed into. Not sure if I want to do chart on the top full width or 2/3, but I'm thinking chart on top full width and then I can just change it later. Um, so yeah, definitely I've like, it took me a while to get this project started. It was just brand new, you know, a lot of like mistakes I had to make to understand doing a more complex project. And now I got the vision right and I'm just really hungry to get this made and created and get it running so I can like, you know, start building the business around it and start getting data based on user data to you know, make it a continual improvement on the business on the site. And I've definitely like zoned in like the function of the site much better to fit like the gap in the market that I found, done more research and you know, I'm really feeling like everything I created so far definitely led me to this and seeing how I can implement everything I've done so far and feeling really good about this project and how much value it can provide for people. I think you know everyone should one of the most valuable skills you can have for making money is really investing. And that's not a skill that, you know, people are being taught in school from what I understand. So adults, I mean, like from what I understand, like, you know, you have to be an adult for investing anyway. Like it's illegal to like open a brokerage account and do stuff like that. So this is still like I'm still like looking for adults. Like that's still my target market, but it's like anybody who wants to learn to invest. Um, and you know, they could just learn from the free tier. It would just take a lot longer and it wouldn't be as good. But I think the free tier is going to show people that it totally makes sense to move to the paid tier and get coaching and journaling, and it'll make them way better than they could be if they just use the free tier. Okay, build and verify. Yes. So how you doing, Jake? If you're still watching, building anything cool recently? Um, yeah, it's always awesome to see what other people are building. Helps me understand vibe coding a lot. And all right, made the changes. Got 25 years of price history. That's good. Okay. Um, should get Twitch up every time. That's funny. They call it Twitch. Every time I hear the Twitch, I'm like thinking of. Let's see if there's okay. There's a chat room. Okay, looking at the comments. Oh yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm definitely not feeling top shape right now, top form. Um, you've been going nuts with Codex lately. Bought a second $20 account. That's awesome. So is like Codex your main builder? And I'm guessing you just bought a second account because you were using the entire like limit for your first account. And I forgot, do you use Codex along with like Claude or anything like that? And what do you feel like has been your like favorite feature that you've been kind of using Codex more lately? How has Codex been like giving you better value, I guess? All right, so back to the okay, yeah, that's way better. Um yeah, that's maybe that is too much data. Okay, just gonna try this out and look at. Oh yeah, I definitely want to add more stocks too. Um, but I'll try it out first. It's like Apple. So I buy like 10 shares. Okay, show me how much cash I have left. So I'm gonna buy a few different stocks. Okay, yeah, not Microsoft right here. Microsoft looks like the price is pretty high. Amazon, maybe it's starting to make a correction by like, oh yeah, this is like before it split. 3,200. No, Google's looking good. There we go. Um, oh, definitely not that one. Say, yeah, definitely buy some of that. Hundred shares of that one because it's only $7. And Coca-Cola, nope. All right, so I just bought a bunch of stocks. I'm going to go to the next week, showing the holdings. Okay, so I can tell like there should be more options than just through the next week. Should be able to click through like weeks, months, or year. All right, so that's the next thing I want to add. All right, now I'm looking at the options for moving through the time machine. And right now you can just click the button to move through a weekly basis. But I think that's too slow. I want to have the options to move through the week, have an option to move through a month, and then have another option just to move through the entire year. Yeah, I feel like I'm really getting to a better understanding for the vibe coding. The biggest mistake I was making in the past was I was trying to do too many things at once. I would try to tell it to do like two things at one time. It would cause a lot of problems. Sometimes I'd try to tell it to do like five things at a time or something like that. So now I see like, with vibe coding, like I'm just focusing on one thing at a time. I'm getting everything to look right. I'm getting before I was trying to like add everything from the start. Now I'm just doing like the main basic function first and making sure that works right. And then I'm adding on to that and doing it one step at a time. So, like in a way, like, cause like when I first started, I'm like, well, isn't that going to be slower? But it's like, no, this is actually faster this way because trying to do what I was doing before, it took a lot longer and ended up finding a lot more bugs and, um, yeah, this is like my strategy now. Um, Essentially, like I've already built out the free tier. I'm gonna make sure the free tier is like perfect what I want. Well, it's never gonna be perfect, but just like where it's good enough for right now. Then I'll move on to the paid tier. Can Really I want to have two paid tiers, but I'm gonna get it. The second paid tier, I want it to be like a bot builder, but I realize now that like that's too much to add from the start. I want to just get it up with the get it live so that the free tier and the main paid tier are working, and then get those better. And what I'll do is I'll probably just like put a button like if you're interested in building a bot, like a customized investing bot based on your skills, just like click this button to let me know if you want to build it. And then, because that's like the most, it sounds like request I've been getting is people want to see the bot stuff. So, let's see, back to the chat. Javi, respect every time, big up yourself, hope you're doing good. All is well with me, definitely all is well for the most part. Learning a lot through my mistakes. And let's see, Jake's been talking about, oh yeah, he's talking about Codex. And so yeah, he has Claude Code and Codex. But the limit, I think he's saying for Claude is too low, so the Codex has a better limit. Saying Codex has been awesome at converting the TypeScript code to Go, especially when you use planning. All right, I don't know what Go is, but I'm about to look that up. So you tried it with Claude Code first, but it made a lot of errors. Okay, I'm guessing that's in regard to Go, and yeah, good to see everybody on the chat. Good to see new people. Respect every time. Big up yourself. Putting out an L out there and changing the L into a W every time. But yeah, let's see. I want to look at what Go is in regards to coding. Um, Somebody in the chat is talking about they like using Codex to convert TypeScript code to Go. And I don't know what that means. Like, could you explain that? What is Go? So yeah, just looking at Gemini right now about this Go, and Golang. Go is a programming language. Okay, built by Google. TypeScript is like a versatile high-end SUV, great for everything. Go is like a Formula One car. It's built for speed. It complies directly to machine code, making it 10 to 15 times faster than TypeScript for heavy math or data processing. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. The current concurrency king. Go is famous for Go routines, which basically allow the app to do thousands of things at the exact same time without breaking a sweat. This is why major companies like Uber, Google, and PayPal use it for their backends. In this context, Codex. Oh, they think I mean they're talking about CODEC, but I meant like Codex. Okay. So basically, what they're telling me is like, Go is the gold standard for high frequency trading and massive financial backends. But for me, TypeScript is better because it's easier to vibe with. Okay. Um, but they're saying that once I get like 1,000 users, then I would want to remember to look at Go. So it sounds like I could convert everything. So it sounds like what you're saying is like once this gets more users and once this project gets more complex, then it would make sense to convert everything to Go. So Javi's saying that this is no joke. They said just vibe it. There's a lot of hardcore scaffolding that has to happen. That's not easy. Um, Google Gemini Pro has come through really well. Surprising. Uh, so I think are you talking like in reference to Go, I guess. And then that Google Gemini Pro. Yeah, I gotta try that. I think that's the next one. What do you think about Google Gemini Pro? Where are you finding that has the best use cases? I definitely want to get that set up. I really like Gemini's LLM. Well, for a lot of things, some things. That's another thing I learned today. Is I was getting kind of frustrated with Google's LLM helping me with Gemini, helping me navigate through different websites, and they pretty much had the same problems that I was getting with GPT and Claude, where like the website's updated and it doesn't know, so it's like directing me to like a menu that doesn't exist anymore. So I looked into it more and I found out about Perplexity and I downloaded the Perplexity browser and that was like way better. As soon as I started working in the Perplexity browser and I would ask it questions about a website, it would just give me the right spot at the like right away. And then I learned that like that Perplexity computer can basically like if I'm trying to do something on a website, I can just tell it to go do it and it'll just go and like make all the clicks for me and like it just could save me a ton of time. So I definitely want to implement Perplexity Computer in addition to Gemini. Oh, so you think Gemini Pro is better at web app coding? Okay. Than fixing a ton of Claude's errors. That's really good to know. So I think and yeah, that's what I heard about Perplexity. It's like $200 for 10,000 credits, and and you could like burn through that whole 10,000 credits in like one task, depending on what the task is. So that's what it sounds like. It's just like way less value than any of the other, I guess you would say agents. But yeah, I want to get, I should definitely start with Gemini Pro and at least just have it start by looking at the errors, maybe even like use it to like build out certain features and just see how it builds stuff compared to Gemini. So let's see, we got the change made for time machine. I can go weekly. It's not showing. I think the chart is too big. It's not really showing too well. Monthly. Also, it's showing the year. I think I want to make it more like gamified, so it's like not showing the year and it's kind of more random. Let's see here. So in the comments, if you schedule tasks, it's dynamic. It's not a static token count, so it can get costly. You found yourself building budgeting tasks. That's interesting. You keep the finance tasks in Perplexity. It's practically a genie. That's yeah. I feel like I got to get at least one month of Perplexity, even though it's expensive, just to try it out and see what it's capable of. Because yeah, if it's good for finance, that's good enough for me to check it out. So let's see. We got this chart. It just like when you zoom in, it zooms into the middle, and it should be zooming into the like the closest date where it's at. Okay. So I want to do that. I notice on the chart, it's really hard to zoom in to like the current price part of the chart. When I try to zoom into the chart, it's like it only zooms into the middle. But I want to be able to scroll to the most recent part of the chart and then zoom in and then be able to zoom in on the most recent part of the chart. Yeah. Voice, man. All right. We got two problems with the chart zoom. Yeah, I think there's just maybe 30 years of data was a little bit too much. But I'll see how this works. If I can zoom in right with it and still have all this data, that's definitely what I want to do. Let's try to say it. Should be able to do that now. Yes. Okay. It's way better. Year is 1998. Let's see. Remember, I took some notes about how I wanted to do this, so basically I want to make this more like a game. More like more fun to play. All right, so yeah, I like that idea. If you can beat the S&P 500, you can get an indicator. Um, I'm gonna go into plan mode. Okay, so what I want to do is add some like educational stuff. I want to have like I'm not sure what it would be, but like a way for people to understand the candlestick chart better. So I've got like the dashboard and then it shows the time machine, and I'm thinking under that there could be like tools, and like the first tool I could build would be something about like understanding candlestick charts and then understanding different candlestick patterns. So let me know what you think about that idea and what you think is the best way to implement it, and interview me to get more information about this as well. How should users learn the patterns? By reading about them or by doing something interactive? Um, let's try an interactive game. How many patterns am I thinking for a first version? Uh, so should this tool be used the same mock data engine as the time machine or static example charts? I'm thinking not sure yet. Like that, I'm not sure, and it actually gave me that option. So yeah, I feel like our Claude is getting more intuitive. All right, so for the game of the time machine, I think there should be some explanation there. Um, just kind of throws people in with no explanation. But I'll wait till it's finished building what it's building now. Just gotta stay focused on the mission, on the goal. So yeah, if you're just tuning in, what I'm doing is working on the free tier of the InvestaPath financial hub. So the free tier is going to be free for people to use. I'm going to be driving traffic there. Right now, the main feature of the free tier is a trading time machine, or I mean, investing time machine. So it's showing like a random year. I'm going to go back to that while Claude is working. Basically, you can see it's showing a random year, like this year that it's selecting is 1998, and it's showing the chart of like, I think it's like 30 years before that. Um, it's like right here, it looks like Apple's about to go down. I wouldn't want to buy Apple based on that chart. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Just found an error. Okay, so it added a sell button, but there's no position to sell, so got that error, which would make sense. So that's awesome. Feel like I should be running an audit first, and I'll see if the audit catches that. And if the audit doesn't catch it, then I'll just manually go in and do it. But yeah, I can definitely tell. Yeah, see now this is a different year, different chart. This looks like a way better time to buy Apple than what it was showing before. So when was that? That was like I think before it was showing like 2012. But anyways, back to Claude. Claude's still working. Building the Candle Coach UI. So it still knows that that Candle Coach existed at one time. And it's showing up now. Okay, so that's done. I'm going to check that out. Let's see. Yeah, this is awesome. This is super simple. Helps people understand what's going on. But it's kind of repeating the same patterns. Okay. So I'll come back to this one later. I want to stick with the time machine, make sure that's right first. Time machine reverted back to the old chart. It's just showing like 1 year. Okay. All right, so that looks good so far for like the beginning of the candle coach. The time machine though reverted back to the old chart. It doesn't show enough data for like context. So fix the chart so that it was like it was before. I don't know why doing the candle coach thing broke the time machine chart. But yeah, if you don't remember what it was like before, just ask. Yes, it is. It is a ton of fun building stuff, and I'm really fortunate to have this opportunity. I would have without this, I'd still be learning code to like do really basic things, and I'm just jumping right into building complex things. So yeah, this is really awesome. What's possible? It's just a dev server thing. Here we go. I want it so it's able to show the whole chart when it first pops up. So maybe that's too much data to do that. All right. All right, so I want it to be able to like when it first pops up to be able to like zoom out so it's showing like the whole chart for how much data there is. I'm wondering if maybe there's too much data right now to make that make sense to do that. But let me know what you think. Yeah, let's try 5 years of history. right, let's see. Yeah, that's better. Definitely don't need that 30 years of history. Okay, so go back into the plan mode. All right, so like I feel like there's not enough contextual information on like how this works for a beginner. Like a beginner is just gonna like click onto the time machine and it's just gonna throw them into it. But I think there needs to be ways to explain how to use this, explain what the point is, and the point is to try and beat the S&P. So there needs to be basically like explanations to make this more like user friendly, especially for beginners. Where should the educational content live? The intro screen is one option, but beginners also need help once they're in the game. Yo, that's what I want to focus on right now. So yeah, I do want to briefly explain the S&P 500 and what stocks are, what it means to buy and sell, and how the time machine works. But I'm thinking the best way to do that, especially with like explaining the S&P 500, what stocks are, what the buy and sell means. Like maybe there could be some kind of like hover or like whatever you think that would be the best way for it's like so that it's not like cluttering the information, but it could be accessed like if people are interested in like understanding something better. So I was just thinking about this question. Got another question for you. Got a question for you in regards to commenter was talking about people are saying just vibe it, but there's a lot of hardcore scaffolding that has to happen. That's not easy. Um, they think that Gemini Pro is better at web app coding than Claude is. So I've heard a lot of different information on that. Let me know what you think about scaffolding in regards to vibe coding, and also what you think about Gemini versus Claude Code in regards to web app coding. So like vibe coding is like, you just describe what you want, the AI builds it. But as I've seen with like some of these errors that I've had, the vibes eventually hit the scaffolding. The scaffolding, this is the plumbing, the folder structure, the environment variables, the API authentication, and the deployment pipelines. So if your scaffolding is weak, your vibe will collapse. You can't just vibe a secure financial hub, you have to architect the data flow. The best developers use the AI to generate the scaffolding, but stay sharp enough to verify it. You aren't just vibing, you're conducting. Yeah, so this is what I've learned a lot more. Like this is all about like engineering, like being able to engineer and conduct the agents so that they're building things right. And I was definitely like, learn the hard way from building things wrong and hitting problems. Scaffolding is kind of like, like the structure of like the files and everything like that. So, in regards to Claude and Gemini, um, Gemini even thinks that Claude is the king of coding nuances. It writes cleaner, more human like code and is better at following complex logic. And Gemini thinks that Gemini Pro is powerful but can sometimes be wordy or include unnecessarily boilerplate. Uh, for a context window, okay, this is huge. Yeah, Claude only has 200K context window, and Gemini has a 2 million context window. So that makes way more sense. When I'm looking at the project from like a bigger context, Gemini wins every time. Every time. Tool integration. Claude Code is built to live in your terminal and actually act on your files. Gemini is deeply integrated into Google Cloud and Firebase. If your hub is hosted on Google, Gemini has the home field advantage. Oh, okay. And yeah, I believe that I will host it on Google. Yeah, I definitely got to get Gemini. Um, so for what I'm doing, Gemini thinks I should use Claude Code for architecting and writing. It's less likely to give me hallucinated bugs in the React or Next.js components. It feels the vibe of the design better. Use Gemini for troubleshooting and documentation. If I have like errors or if I don't know why, I can dump the entire system log into Gemini. Because of that massive context window, it will find the needle in the haystack faster than Claude. That's awesome. That's good to know. And yeah, it's not about just vibing. You really have to understand the architecture. Um, why not do a scaffolding audit and see what I got? So I'm gonna check out the changes that just were made from this recent vibe I did. So I just gotta switch to the browser. Okay, so yeah, this is better now. Doesn't just like throw you into it with no info. So how this works, you study the chart, pick a stock from the drop down and look at its price history. Then when you think a stock will go up, you buy. When you want to take profit or avoid losses, you sell. You can hold multiple stocks at once. Move forward 1 week. Okay. The goal. The S&P is a benchmark that tracks the 500 largest U.S. companies. If your portfolio grows more than the S&P by the end of the year, you win. Okay, so this one's 2006. Uh, let's just make it easy and buy 100 Apple. Try a full year and see what happens. So yeah, I just went through the full year just like that in one click. And if I would have just bought the S&P 500, I would have only been down 6% instead of 35%. So that is very good to know. All right, so now I think it's time to be doing some auditing stuff. Basically, I would like a scaffolding audit prompt, but I do not have Gemini yet. I just have Claude and Codex. Usually I've been doing my auditing with Codex, and then when it finds the problems, I will give those problems to Claude to fix. So yeah, I'm going to show you guys a scaffolding audit. One of the commenters was talking about very big truth that, vibe coding is cool. You can build a lot of cool things with vibe coding, but you really got to understand scaffolding and like engineering the project as well. Especially if you're building like more complicated things, and especially if you're building something that is going to be like a business or monetized like I'm doing. So I'm going to go into Codex. I would like you to do a scaffolding audit on the current project. Specifically, look for circular dependencies between the features in the main hub, scalability bottlenecks in the folder structure, error handling in the resend email integration, and list every flaw you find as a fixed ticket with a clear title and a brief description of the risk. So yeah, looking at the chat, thanks for reminding me. I want to commit and push more often. Yeah, I didn't even notice I have over 1,000 changes to commit, and that's better because then yeah, if I have a problem, then I can just go back to the previous version. So yeah, after I do this audit, I'm definitely gonna be pushing and commit to GitHub. I should have done that earlier. Um, I got to get in the habit of doing that more often. Especially even I think there's ways to have it so it automatically does that after like each feature that I build. But yeah, let's see. How about some more scaffolding information? Could you explain to me some best practices about scaffolding and just like especially anything specific for this project I would want to know about scaffolding? Yeah, respect to the comments every time, helping me so much. I'm like one of my main goals is like I want to get to a point where like I'm able to be a really good coder, vibe coder, agentic instructor of coding to where I'm able to provide more value to people in the comments, because right now I'd say like the majority of the time it's the people in the comments helping me, and that's awesome. But I really like when I can like help somebody in the comments understand something better off of what I learned. So yeah, I think I'm still pretty new to this. Learned a lot in the past like month and a half, whatever it's been, and like people were saying from the beginning, it's probably just going to take like 3 to 6 months before I get like really good at this. I'm going to give this Codex issues that found a Claude Code. I just did a scaffolding audit. I'm going to list what Codex found, and I want you to go ahead and make the fixes. Yeah, I'm getting way better at just building faster and failing faster and learning from my mistakes. I was one of the main things I'm learning about this vibe coding is you don't want to try to make it perfect from the start. It's way better to just like build something, make mistakes, learn from your mistakes, and then just like keep building and just keep learning. I was like doing way too much planning, I think, way too much like trying to make sure everything was perfect before I got started. And there's definitely like a line to walk that's like, you know, you do want to make sure certain things that there is like a lot of good context information before you start, especially a bigger project. Um, because like the better the information, if you just give it no information, it's not going to build something nearly as good as if you give it like at least like a little bit of background information on what you're doing. So I'm just learning that line to walk where it's like, you know, I'm doing the right thing with like best practices for getting everything set up correct, I guess. Pre-build, but not like overdoing it and trying to make sure everything's perfect before I even get started, like I was kind of doing from the start. Um, so the scaffolding isn't just a folder structure; it's the docking station. The biggest risk for this project is probably tight coupling. If I hard code a bunch of features into the main dashboard, I'll have a nightmare by the time there's like 30 features. Uh, I already had that, and I had to learn from my mistakes. But yeah, definitely. Each of the features should live in its own folder with a standardized manifest file. This allows the hub to auto detect new apps. Can just drop a folder in, and the hub adds it to the menu automatically. No manual coding for each new addition. Um, Centralized auth end state, the single source of truth. Since I have a waitlist and a resync connection, I need a single way to handle users across the apps. Keep user logic in like its own folder. Never let an individual app talk to resend directly. They should call a central function like send hub email. If I ever switch from resend to another provider, I change one file in the scaffolding instead of updating all the different features. So shared UI components, the look and feel. To keep the high-end vibe you want for InvestaPath, all the features need to look like they belong together. So I should build a component, shared library, buttons, input cards. So yeah, this is just all like scaffolding, making sure that everything is like put together right, clean and lean. So going back to the comments, I'm noticing Jake's talking about he's building a command line program. So it's not really like similar to what I'm doing, but he found that writing long prompts in MD files with examples and referring the model to that helps. Um, yeah, I've definitely done that before, and I'm trying to get more into skills. So, like from what I'm understanding, like you know, the more code you build, the more complex it gets in regards to like you know, it's got to have more context to scan through all that code. Things take longer to load, stuff like that. So like if I implement the right skills in the right spots, then that's like less code. So like from what I understand, instead of like making more code, I'd want to be like making more skills that when it makes sense. So like if the code can just refer to skills instead of writing code to do the skills, then it should make everything a lot leaner and cleaner and run faster. So yeah, that's the biggest lesson I'm learning right now. Just going from individual apps to this like this main hub dashboard is a much more complex project. It's really more important to understand like scaffolding, how to implement skills. Jake's even talking about using code fences helps too. If you mention specific blocks of code and fence them in with 3 backtick symbols helps, it's like this. Okay, like parentheses, 3 of them with the code. I'm gonna definitely take a note to. Well, actually, instead of taking a note, I'll just ask Gemini about it while I'm pushing to GitHub. Sometimes I find myself typing and I'm like, I gotta break that habit. It's too slow. I don't need to do that. Alright, so let me know about code fences. Commenter mentioned that code fences could help me in regards to like scaffolding and keeping the code lean and clean. Let me know what you think, and especially in regards to this project. So yeah, for code fences, it's really important to help from keeping the project turning into spaghetti code. Spaghetti code is kind of what I had like originally like built this out. Like I didn't understand spaghetti code's like having things like kind of all over the place. Like spaghetti's like, you know, all the individual noodles are like twisted around and stuff. So you want to have everything like everything so it's like lean and clean. There's a architectural fence, like a sandbox, and scaffolding. A fence is a boundary that prevents your hub's core logic from getting tangled with, you know, features, having like a bunch of different features. So I want to treat each kind of like feature like it lives on its own island. Use a standardized interface. The hub should only talk to an app through a single entry point. So if I ask Claude to like do an update, I could say like don't just fix the menu, use a fence to limit what it can see and touch. Okay. Or like I'm going to provide the code for the sidebar TSX component inside these triple backticks. Only modify the CSS for the hover state. Do not touch the logic of the other files. You can also fence the dependencies. Might have different libraries for different features. If I install everything into root hub, the project becomes a heavy monster that takes 10 minutes to load. I've definitely had that happen before. Yeah, I think that's kind of the main thing that led me to this was like everything was taking too long to load and I didn't understand it, so I just kept building on top of it, and then it was just too much for like Claude and VS Code to like deal with, and it was starting to slow down a ton and even like lock up and freeze on me. So let's see. So I want to tell Claude to set up dynamic imports for the apps folder. I was advised to tell you to set up dynamic imports for any folder it would apply to. I'm guessing this would be most likely like different features. Like, you know, the time machine is one feature and the candle coach is another feature. But basically, it sounds like the main reason is to make sure that this hub stays fast as far as like loading and stuff. Let me know what you think. All right, so yeah, that push was really important. It went from like over 1,000 different things to commit to just two. Um, just gonna check the project browser again. See if that one. Yup, that problem is still there, so I didn't catch that. All right. Oh, awesome. Yeah, it's basically saying I've already done a code split. The app is already correctly set up for this. The advice applies more to apps than to that load many features on a single page. Mine doesn't yet. Each tool is its own route. So yeah, I've already been doing that, I guess. I just didn't know it by that term. But yeah, definitely this is like definitely in line with where I'm like learning right now. The main areas that I was like struggling with and running into problems. And yeah, I really appreciate that advice because it helps me understand more what I'm doing. And I know I'm just getting better and better, so like every build is going to be better in the future. All right. I noticed there's like some kind of bug when I first start the time machine challenge. Basically, like it says you can buy or sell, and I clicked sell like before I started the challenge, so there was nothing bought yet, and I clicked sell, and it just froze everything up. So there must be some kind of bug. So do what you need to do. So, if you click sell and you haven't bought anything yet, it'll just give you a message like, you need to actually like buy something before you sell something. Yeah, definitely getting to the next level. So yeah, they fixed that. They found another issue if you buy something and you don't have enough cash, then it was like freezing up. So they're changing that so that people will know because beginners aren't going to understand this stuff. They need to understand this. This is like, you know, um, a lot of people just start with real money, and a lot of people don't realize that they're probably going to go through a losing before they start winning. And having all this like information here with the ability to try it out in rapid speed, so you don't have to do it in real time, is gonna get you on that transformation from like new to investing to being profitable much quicker. All right, no more freezing. Go back to checkout. There you go. Work that time. Okay. like how it updates too with how you're doing versus the S&P, like as you're moving through. Yeah, awesome. So yeah, I've not beat it yet. Played it like quick through a few times. All right. So then what I want to do is go into plan mode and add some features to this time machine to make it easier to know when to buy. All right, so I just ran through the time machine a few times. Every time I did not beat the S&P 500. So I'm thinking like what I want to do is like add some kind of like tools or features, maybe like the most basic of indicators and advice to like kind of like make it easier for people to know when to buy something. I'm not really sure how to add these indicators. You know, I'm thinking like on the dashboard, there's going to be the time machine. I've already got the candle coach. I'm thinking of like adding more candle coach similar type, I guess games for learning things. But as far as I want to know to like apply them to the time machine, what do you think? Build fast, fail fast. That is the build fast, fail fast, and build lean and clean to get to the green, to provide more value. And let's see, put them on code. I really like the AI style coaching hints part, mixed with the indicators. But what I'm wondering is because this is the free tier, so if I do like these coaching hints, you know, is this gonna like cost me a lot of credits? Um, because that's the main thing. You know, I don't want people running up big bills on the free tier. So let me know what you think. I think moving averages. Awesome. I don't need an LLM for that at all in the free tier. That's money. Coaching hints can be 100% rule based, pure code. What about a skill? I think this might be a good spot for a skill. Um, yeah. So yeah, that's awesome. That really like I was thinking like it would need an API for an LLM to do this kind of like basic coaching stuff, but now I'm understanding like some of it can just be rule based. So if it's rule based, it shouldn't need an LLM. So that's good to know for everything in the future. And if it's rule based, that's what I want to know is like rule based in regards to skills. So I'm finding workarounds for adding an LLM to the free tier by giving coaching information that's rule based. So if it's rule based, I'm learning that I don't actually need like an LLM. So I want to do more rule based stuff. And essentially what I'm wondering is with this rule based stuff, like basically like in this instance it's for the chart that's gonna have different indicators and explaining like how they are like translating how they read the chart. So is this something that I would want to have skills for? This is a major aha moment in software architecture. Just discovered the secret to high-end fintech expert systems. Before we had massive LLMs, the most powerful trading tools in the world were built on rule-based logic. You can code the rules of a chart indicator like an RSI being over 70 or moving average crossover. You're building something faster, cheaper, and most importantly, more accurate than an LLM. So yeah, this should be a skill. This is called domain logic. An LLM guesses what a chart says based on patterns. Rule-based logic knows what the chart says based on math. You can write the rules first. You can later use a tiny cheap LLM just to voice those rules into a nice sentence. Save 90% on API costs and get 0% hallucinations. And that's major with investing, especially. Uh, so I'm reading about how to scaffold rule-based indicators on an indicator engine. You'll create logic fences for the indicators. The high-end vibe comes from combining them. So like once they're combined, then I can do like have LLM do one sentence to say like, hey, put this in the tone of a professional Wall Street mentor. Okay, that's awesome. That makes so much sense. Yeah, so doing skills with rule-based stuff. Because before I was just like, okay, anything that needs to be explained, I should just like use an LLM, and that's gonna cost credits and stuff, and also then you got to worry about hallucinations. And yeah, why not? I mean, it's also going to be less lean. So if I can have a skill instead of an LLM implementing this stuff, or in this case, the skill's doing 90% of the work and the LLM's doing 10% of the work, that's the way to go. So I'm going to once this is done building this information, I'm going to yeah, let me get a prompt for that. Can you give me a prompt that I can give to Claude Code to implement this That's awesome. Um, I'm gonna go into plan mode for this one. So yeah, some of the stuff I'm asking it to do now with this skill-based indicator stuff already exists in like the last prompt I did, but I'm giving it like a prompt to make it more structured. Um, so it's just checking to see what already exists and how to design the proper architecture. Do you think there's anything else that I haven't thought of you could tell me about architecture for this project? And if you can't think of anything about this project, just let me know what you think about building like more complex projects in general. Like, you know, like what kind of things do I need to do with the architecture before I start the project? What should I be mindful of while I'm doing the project that I should be updating? Like, you know, when do I like build skills into it, stuff like that. Yeah, basically, I think if I had built this out the way that I originally started building it out from the start, I would have probably like had it too bloated to where it was like breaking before I even like finished the free tier. I was gonna build like multiple charts out, just like yeah, way too much, and I'm sure there will be many more problems to come, but build fast, fail fast. That way, I hit those problems and I learn from them and make it better, and then you know figure out how to automate it, build a system, then run into the next problem and just keep leveling up like that. Yeah, I definitely hear what people are saying in regards to vibe coding. Um, you know, it's not. It sounds pretty easy. Like you could just go and make some simple stuff for yourself just by vibe coding, playing around. But when it comes time to actually like build something professionally, there's a lot of things that you're gonna want to implement to make sure everything is good on a professional level. And that's what I'm trying to do now. And I've been mindful of that when I was building those apps, but the main thing with those apps I was building before was they were not nearly the size or complexity of this, so I wasn't hitting those kind of problems before when I was building those apps. And yeah, it's definitely taking me to the next level. You got the like I was installing LLMs with all those individual apps to like do what now I learned I could have just been doing with at least like 90% of it probably with just like the right scaffolding and skills. So a lot of stuff I was using APIs for before was not necessary. I didn't know that. Um, yeah, so much more to learn. Um, This is definitely looking better already. This project is. Let's see. So basically like most people start projects by coding features. High-end developers start by coding the system that holds the feature. So like that's why I did like the hub, the overall like UI in the hub first. And now I'm basically building the features in the hub. So there's like a modular monolith strategy. So that's where you don't want the complexity of microservices, like 30 separate servers, and you also don't want a monolith, meaning like one giant file. And that's where I was running into problems with one giant file. It was slowing everything down. Every feature should be able to be deleted by simply deleting its folder without the rest of the hub crashing. So there's an expert system, a rule-based skill set. So this is the most valuable skill in AI integrated software. It's called an inference engine. You write the math and the AI just narrates the results. As you build, keep a central logic library file. Each time you figure out a new trading rule, add it there. By feature 30, you won't be writing code. You'll be composing rules you already built. Mindful maintenance. AI debt guardrail. While you're building, you need to watch out for AI drift. This is when Claude gives you a slightly different way of doing things in like a new feature than it did in an earlier feature. So the architecture fix is to create system instructions file in your project. Every time you start a new feature, paste that file to Claude and say, follow these architectural rules so this feature matches the others. This keeps the vibe and the scaffolding consistent across all the features. And the main thing I'm thinking is when to build skills versus just code. Pre-project is where you want to build the plumbing skills. I'm already doing this with like the API keys, the folder structure, and security. During the project is building the domain skills. This is like the rule-based logic, what I'm doing right now. Don't just ask AI, what is RSI? Go read the math so you can verify the AI's rules. So, yeah, I'm not having like the AI like, code out these indicators, these features. I'm just giving it like skills and rules so that it doesn't have to write the code for it, and then that's like extra code and extra context. And then post project is where you want to build. After the project's done, build the optimization skills. So this is where you're like looking at all the different features and you're like, how can I make this load like a lot faster? So like as far as like, speed and stuff, sounds like it's better to wait till you're done. And then the final thing I'm getting is idempotency. This is a fancy word that means if I click this button twice, it should send 2 emails or charge the user twice. As you build your resend integration, that's the email service, make sure your code checks. If an action was already successful before trying it again, it's a hallmark of a professional grade app. Okay, let's see what this added right here. Looks like it added a bug. Good thing I did that push right before this, huh? All right, So I just went to open up the time machine and it just took me to a white error screen. So what I want you to do is to create a prompt that I can give to Codex to do an audit based on everything that you just did to make changes. And yeah, I was like being way more careful before. Like I was trying to like keep it so minimal of how much I used Claude, and now I'm just like, no, dude, I need to like just not worry about that. Just use Claude as much as possible. Ask it as many questions as possible. Um, I have the bigger plan. It's gonna make the learning curve way quicker to do it like this. Okay, so what changed and what to audit? Go into Codex and do another audit. It's going to run it as a full verification pass now, build first, then static audits. Then a local runtime smoke check for both tool routes and capture any concrete errors. Sounds good to me. Yeah, so if you're just tuning in, basically, I'm building out the free tier of the Finance Hub. I am pretty much got like the basic function of it working, and now I'm like adding features to it. And I'm also keeping in mind that, just like any business, it's going to adapt over time to what the customer wants. So I'm putting this out right now as is, but I'm like building fast, failing fast, and essentially I want to be getting this built as quick as possible, driving traffic to it as quick as possible, and learning from that traffic when people are using this. And then I'll be able to see like what features people are using more, what features people don't like, where people are getting stuck, and then I can go in and just like do constant continual improvements until I get it down to where like everything's flowing. Users are coming on, they're staying on, they're using it, they're getting benefits from all the features. The features they don't like, it's just not an obstacle. It's not something that's more overwhelming to them. And yeah, it's all about like pushing the free line is like a marketing concept that is good for any business. That is I remember when I was like, I don't know, first like newer entrepreneur, and I was like talking to like people who have built really successful businesses, and I would ask them things like, what do you think made it so you guys are so much better than all your competitors? How did you get to be the best in your niche? And I was really surprised at the most like common answer I got from people was in regards to they felt like they gave away more for free than anybody else, than any of their competitors. Um, Pushing the free line. So like if you can find a way to give away more for free than anybody else, it builds a lot of trust and respect. You can give away more value for free. You want people to see that like there's actually a lot of value in what you're doing, and that's what I'm doing right now. Just making this free tier as good as possible, making it so that like people will use it, they'll see how much value it's offering, and they'll see that it totally makes sense for them to upgrade to the paid version, to where it'll just like as far as the free tier is going to make them like a little bit better, like slower. um the paid tier, they're going to be able to see like, okay, now I see like how like like this is getting me like better at investing, but I'm really limited. to what I can do with this. Like I would want to have like journaling and the coaching and practicing in real time. But like a beginner's not going to understand that. A beginner is just going to be overwhelmed. So I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for them to realize that they can beat the S&P 500. They can get way better results than if they would just buy index funds. They can learn how to invest in the right stocks at the right time, and over time they'll get better at investing and their money will work for them. And in the past, the way that these like skills were learned was like much slower than what's capable now with what I can build. So just got that audit result done, and gonna give this to Claude. I just got those audit results from Codex. I'm going to post them here, and I want you to do the fixes. So yeah, a lot of awesome things going on other than just like the vibe coding this project. Learning about the skills, learning about the scaffolding, uh, ton of problems that I encountered with a complex project like this I never encountered before, and yeah, my whole workflow is getting better. Like in a way, I was doing it probably like more professional, but it was a little bit slower when I was doing those apps. But yeah, I think I should probably be using the terminal more for like the building parts of it, and just getting better at switching between like the plan mode and the terminal, and this mode that I'm using now, which is like kind of like the chat instead of the terminal. Um, yeah, so many things to learn, but I have a feeling by the end of this project, and then also too like that email stuff I just like discovered today. Um, I got the email all set up, so like when people create accounts, it can take their emails, and basically I could just automate the whole email thing. I don't have to even like work with a like MailChimp or ConvertKit database, or I mean dashboard. I can just do it all through Claude or create my own dashboard, and then link that up with the other marketing. So yeah, there's a lot that I'm really looking forward to building. Let's see. Build passes, all right. I think I'm gonna do another GitHub. Yeah, every time I hear typing now, I'm just like, why am I typing? Every time I hear other people type, I'm like, why are you typing? You can just talk to your computer. And I can't believe how much typing I used to do in the past. Dictation software in the past was like nothing compared to now. Made that switch to Whisper Flow finally. I really underestimated how much better Whisper Flow is. I don't have to really like talk like a robot anymore to dictate. I can just like talk fast and like naturally, so that is a good improvement. And making a ton of progress. So let's see what the project looks like. Whoa. That is way too much indicators on the chart. Definitely got to fix that. Okay. No wonder it broke down. It's just like you can't even read the chart with that many indicators on it. And I had a feeling that would be kind of weird, but I didn't know until I saw it. So okay, all right, now I'm looking at the chart and there's way too many indicators on the chart. It makes it super hard to read the chart. It's going to be super overwhelming for beginners. I'm thinking what I want to try first is like, don't do indicators from the past. Just show the indicator mark on the chart that's like the current price of the chart. Done. Let's see. Yes. That helps so much. Even for me, that was like way too like overwhelming and complicated. But when a beginner can see the most recent indicator, although it did take away some of the other indicators like these moving average things, but I guess that's not doing anything. That wouldn't have been since over here. All right. Yeah, I'm just really tired today. Had a really long day yesterday. Definitely definitely like I had to go to the doctor. Doctor said like, I'd be good to work today, but yeah, still kind of foggy from medication they gave me, and yeah, I definitely need to get some sleep and some food. So I'm gonna make this stream end right now. Just want to do one more last push to GitHub. But yeah, that doesn't need to be on a stream. So yeah, just living the dream. It's not always what it seems, but learning every day. Even though sometimes I get frustrated and I might feel some type of way, it's okay because, it's all about the journey. I'm not even focused really right now on what I'm going to be earning. I'm sure I'll get there over time, but right now I'm just keeping my mind on providing value. So hopefully you got some value off of what I had to tell you. I'll be coming through with the longer streams again tomorrow when I'm feeling back to normal. But yeah, for right now, I definitely got to get some rest. So yeah, that is it for today. I'm out.